from the budget advocates for 15 minutes. And if you can please stick to those 15 minutes, that would be great. All right, welcome. If you can please introduce yourselves for those who aren't familiar. Welcome. The floor is yours for 15.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Handel. I am a co-chair, and I come from the West LA Sawtell Neighborhood Council, a council member for roughly 16 years.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Budget and Finance Committee Chair Yaroslavsky and members for the Neighborhood Council Budget Advocates once again having a seat at the table, in this case 5 seats, to present our white paper recommendations. I'm Glenn Bailey, along with a co-chair, along with Jay, you just heard from. We also have our parliamentarian Kay Hartman, Jack Humphreyville, Region 5, and Connie Acosta, Region 7. We have other current and former budget advocates in the audience as well. Neighborhood Council Budget Advocates' origins began with the new 1999 City Charter, which created neighborhood councils and added sections 909, list of priorities to mayor and city council, and section 910, monitor delivery of city services, to the responsibilities of neighborhood councils. Our 20-plus year history had its origins with Mayor Hahn and has evolved under Mayors Villaraigosa and Garcetti, which included mayoral staffing and meeting in the mayor's press room until we transferred upstairs to Dunn staffing and meeting about a decade ago. For many years, Neighborhood Council Budget Advocate structure has been 2 budget representatives per neighborhood council, so up to 198 persons citywide. They form the pool from which they elect 36 budget advocates, 3 from each of the 12 Dunn service regions, and each serving a 2-year term. We also communicate and engage with the city's 99 neighborhood councils and their 1,500 board members and other interested stakeholders on an ongoing basis. The budget advocates work as volunteers to inform, coordinate, support, and amplify the work of the city's neighborhood councils to achieve our shared budget and city services mandate under the city charter. This is the purpose of our annual Neighborhood Council Budget Day, held this year on Saturday, June 21st, in these city council chambers. For more details on all of our work, including white papers and town halls, please visit our website at budgetadvocates.org. You have in your blue folders that we've distributed, you will see the recommendations pulled from the department reports we wrote for the white paper. We also pulled out into a separate report the recommendations for increasing revenues and efficiencies that could lead to increased ability to deliver services. The last report from the recommendations tells which budget themes can be found in which reports. Finally, we have a report of the concerns expressed by the 2024 Budget Day attendees. Each of the concerns lists all the comments related to it, sorted by the area of the city, of the person or people who raised it. And now I'll introduce Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay Hartman. I'm budget advocate from Region 11 and parliamentarian for the group. Thank you for the time. I just want to add to what Glenn just said, that we are having a town hall on the budget on Tuesday and Thursday, and is that right? The 28th, Tuesday, 29th. I don't know. We're having one. Look at our website. And so if you want to learn more about the budget, come to our town hall. The information is all on our website, budgetadvocates.org. I'm going to talk about 2 topics: neighborhood council funding and efficiencies that can lead to savings. We understand the criticality of the city's nearly $1 billion budget shortfall. It is tempting to look at the neighborhood councils who do not spend their money and conclude they are overfunded. For the NCs who do spend their money, a budget cut would be devastating to NCs who have little more than funds to cover their basic expenses. For NCs who do not spend their money, these funds are not lost. They revert to the general fund. The neighborhood council budget was $50,000 originally. Over time, the NC budget has been reduced and inflation has increased costs. When the COVID-19 lockdown took effect NC budgets were reduced to $32,000. When the city recovered its footing and the department cuts were reversed, the NC budget was not restored. We've already taken our cut. The City Council can consider postponing the convention center remodel until we can afford it, or to reduce or eliminate the rollover to pay for this. It would be a shame to cripple this exercise in local democracy that is now hanging on by a thread. To produce our department reports, we break into teams, interview department management, and then the teams write the reports. It is interesting when different teams with different members recommend the same things. Under the category of revenues and efficiencies, we find 3 items that come from multiple reports. Create a position for a chief financial officer. This is a cry for a fiscal manager. The budget advocates have used both these names and have also called it an office of transparency and accountability. The city doesn't feel managed. It feels like an ad hoc organization. The fiscal manager can develop 5-year strategic and 5-year capital plans to bring fiscal order and address the structural and services deficits. The budget advocates have been asking for this since 2019. Institute multi-year budgeting, a reform the committee is now considering. Budget advocates have been calling for this since 2012. And fund grant writing positions. An effective grant writer can bring in more money than the salaries and benefits they earn. We also want to address the $100 million increase to the liability budget over the current year and the $4.8 million cut to animal services. While the budget allocation of $187 million for liability payouts is more than double the 2024-2025 budget, it is about a third less than the payouts that will be made this year. We have to make tough calls at the time we budget, not later in the year when the truth we see now can become painfully obvious. It's time to abandon the talking point that the current spike in payouts is the result of a backlog of cases from the COVID-19 lockdown and give the city a truthful budget for liability claims. While these animal services cuts will save us money today, they will cost us money in the long run in the explosion of unwanted cats and dogs. We urge the committee to consider a more thoughtful approach to this department. Thank you.
The other day, Zev Yaroslavsky said, "The budget on paper is balanced. Not clear it is balanced in reality." This is what we've watched over the last 15 years as budget advocates. LAPD. First, we fully support the letter sent by Chief McDonald concerning the matter of civilian employees within the LAPD. As noted, the unintended consequences of proposed cuts are more severe than previously described. We urge the committee to carefully reconsider any reduction in civilian positions, as this could lead to significant operational setbacks and place further strain on the already overburdened first responders. Fire Department. We stand firm in our position that it is imperative to bring this department into the 21st century. There is an urgent need to add both stations and firefighters to meet the growing demands of our city. Delaying this investment will only worsen response times and risk the safety of our communities. We strongly urge the community to prioritize these additions and ensure we are adequately prepared for the future. Revenue-generating departments. We ask that you refrain from cutting revenue-generating departments, as has been done in past budget cycles of tough times. Such cuts have proven to be counterproductive, ultimately leading to greater fiscal challenges down the line. Instead, we believe that strategic consolidations and reducing unnecessary leases may help free up valuable resources without compromising the quality of services. Bond questions we have. With the issuance of bonds for both LAFD and the Convention Center, we must also ask, how do you plan to pay and avoid what we're going through now 10 and 15 years from now? We're looking at approximately $250 million a year between the two sets of bonds. This will place a substantial burden on the city's budget in the years to come. It's critical that we have a clear, sustainable strategy to ensure that the city can meet these obligations without further jeopardizing essential services in the future. Data and transparency. A key concern we wish to raise is the lack of data and transparency regarding funds that have been allocated and spent. In particular, have there been evaluations of liability claims? Specifically, if departments were fully funded, would the same claims and issues have occurred? A thorough analysis of these areas could prove valuable insights into potential inefficiencies and area for savings and improvements. And finally, as we approach the formation of your new budget advisory committee, we formally request that one of the seats go to the Neighborhood Council Budget Advocates. We bring 2 decades of experience and institutional knowledge about the city's budget and processes, and we are confident that our involvement will provide the committee with the necessary perspectives to make informed and effective decisions. Keep in mind, Ron Galperin came from the Budget Advocates. Thank you for your time and consideration. We look forward to working together to ensure a balanced and responsible budget that serves all Angelenos.
Good afternoon. Is this on? Good afternoon, City Budget and Finance Committee. I am Connie, Budget Advocate. According to Controller Mejia in his Budget and Finance presentation on April 17, the general city purposes increased by $89 million. And a big chunk of this amount went mostly to the homeless emergency for the Inside Safe program, he said. Controller Mejia emphasized, it's hard to track the homeless services because it's not departmentalized. It involves so many departments and offices. This hard-to-track alibi creates a negative public perception of the city's accounting system. In December 2023, after the controller conducted a homeless audit on interim housing and shelter bed data, he recommended for LASA to upgrade its bed availability system to make it more functional and more reliable for all users so they can access information about shelter locations, eligibility requirements, and bed availability. In March of this year, an external assessment conducted by A&M concerning city homeless programs, page 32, describes or reads the overall data returned remained limited in its accuracy and completeness. This limitation was partially due to multiple information systems being used by the city, the county, and the LA Homeless Service Authority, producing silos and fragmented data, resulting in the inability to determine the accuracy of key metrics. At times, incompatible data sets hindered a comprehensive understanding of the city's program's performance.
Thank you, Connie.
Oh, I didn't finish.
Good afternoon. My name is Jack Humphreyville. I'm a neighborhood council budget advocate and written over 15 under articles involving the finances of the city and the Department of Water and Power. The city cannot afford another financial crisis. The city must live within its means so it can deliver adequate services to Angelenos, especially public safety. And as such, the budget advocates have recommended 7 easy-to-implement budgetary reforms. The city must develop an honest 4-year general fund budget outlook. It needs to reflect anticipated raises for city employees, neglecting to disclose the impact of future increases in personnel costs that account for 80% of the city's appropriations borders on fraud. The city needs to conduct open and transparent labor negotiations. This may involve the use of outside negotiators, an independent auditor to analyze the impact of any new labor agreements, the transparent discussion of offers and counteroffers, the disclosure of private communications, and providing adequate time for the public and the media to review and analyze labor agreements and time for public comment. The City Council should also place a measure on the ballot that would prohibit the city from entering into any labor agreements that would create a current or future deficit. In determining whether there is a deficit, potential revenue sources such as new taxes would not be considered unless already approved by the voters. Importantly, the burden of proof in any litigation will be on the city. In the short term, the city should pass an ordinance prohibiting deficits. The city should also establish an Office of Transparency and Accountability that would provide independent, real-time information and advice on the city's budget and finances. This was a recommendation of Herb Wesson's LA 2020 Commission. In many ways, this would be similar to the DWP Ratepayers Advocate. The three other recommendations call for the development of two-year budget cycle as recommended by Controller Mejia, who's in the audience, a creation of a five-year infrastructure plan, and the establishment of a reserve fund that is used for real emergencies and not to balance the budget and pay for unsustainable labor contracts. By implementing these easy-to-understand recommendations, we'll begin the process of establishing trust and confidence in the mayor and the city council. Otherwise, voters will not be receptive to ballot measures that will increase our taxes. The ball is in your court. Will you act in the best interest of Angelenos, or will you continue to approve unsustainable labor contracts? We look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say that the town hall is tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. on Zoom, budgetadvocates.org. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here and for the presentation. We appreciate your work.